2025 was supposed to be just another day made up of 24 hours and filled with hope of fulfillment. We hoped that in what has become our reality, we would discuss the latest episode in the Rivers political drama. The expectation for today was the presentation of the budget as proposed by the governor, the resistance of the State Assembly, the many thoughts and opinions that would trail the action, the conversations on radio, the analysis of experts, and the perception that this crisis could linger for as long as humanly possible. But an adventure is incomplete without a plot twist, an event that introduces disruption to the cliché. So the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with a move that no one saw coming, on the 9th of the 18th of March, declared a state of emergency. A move that changed everything. It's the same movie but a different story. The same story but with different characters. It's a sequel to the greatest story never told. Welcome to another season of the Rivers political drama. Welcome to the state of emergency. This one is not directed by Teko Benton, but the Nigerian state. Most importantly, welcome to Hard Facts and 92.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Sam Orokuchinedu, and as you can tell, there's a lot to unpack today. We start with the big stories. Rivers Assembly backs the emergency rule. Wike revokes PDP secretariat land title. And Nigerians' inflation drops and food prices vary. Coming up at 4, the constitutional criteria for declaring a state of emergency. Is Rivers State qualified according to the provisions of the Constitution? And at 5, we're looking at the reactions to the emergency rule coming from every quarter. As you can tell, this is a state of emergency show because that's all there is to talk about today, the different perspectives to it. And I'm hoping that you join me for this ride. 6 o'clock brings the major news. After that, it's open season. Let's have fun.
When in dire need of assistance or help within Rivers State,
yes, indeed, it is Hard Facts and 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Orokuchinedu here. We start with reactions to the emergency rule, and we're kicking off with the Rivers State House of Assembly that have pledged its support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State, stating that the decision was made in the best interests of the nation. In an official statement by Speaker Martin Amehule, the Assembly blamed the crisis in the state on the actions of the governor, accusing him of repeatedly disobeying court judgments and obstructing legislative functions. The lawmakers described the governor's leadership as despotic and tyrannical, arguing that his conduct justified the intervention by the president. While acknowledging that the emergency rule was not what they had hoped for, the Assembly assured constituents that they would abide by the president's decision. They urged the people of Rivers State to remain calm and support the newly appointed sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired, as he assumes duty. So usually with the big stories, I have a few opinions to share, some perspectives. For this one, I have nothing to say at all. Emergency rule was declared last night. The reactions followed today. And well, everyone has pitched their tent somewhere. We're waiting as events unfold because there is a lot that we're not quite sure of. We really don't know how to navigate this, not for fear, but some people are still in shock. And I think it's not abnormal, double negative. Let me reverse that. It's normal for you to still be in shock. So if that's where you are, as events unfold, we'll find out together what's happening and, more importantly, what needs to be done. We move from that to our next headline. Nigeria's inflation drops as food prices vary. The National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria's inflation rate dropped to 23.18% in February from 24.48% in January. However, a visit to Rumokoro Market by a correspondent reveals varying opinions among buyers. A shopper said there has been a slight decrease in prices, arguing that the reduction has little impact on overall food costs. The other claims prices have remained unchanged since January. A correspondent who visited the Rumokoro Market reports that the price of a 50 kg bag of rice, previously between 75,000 naira and 102,000 naira, now ranges between 59,000 naira and 85,000, depending on the brand. A custard container of rice, once sold for 7,500 naira to 8,500, is now available for 6 to 8,000 naira. That's amazing. I'm supposed to play the voices of some of the traders. I hope I have that. If I don't, I'm going to have to get it. Okay. That's later. So, this House of A has said that they back the emergency rule. Nigeria's inflation drops as food prices vary. We report on inflation rates dropping and rising every now and then. And what you see in those reports are stats. 5%, 2%, 0 point something percent. The average man on the street, which would be you and I, because I happen to be the president of the Common Man Association, cannot care about these figures unless it reflects a reality in market prices. So even if the report is coming from the MBS, or it's coming from maybe Business Day, or some publication that reports on business, if people cannot buy things at a cheaper rate, then it's just news. It's just a headline. It's just a formality. And according to the survey we've done, there have been some change in price. Not drastic, not major, but it's there. You're saving just a little money. Do we want more? Of course we do. There's an insatiable desire to buy it for close to nothing. And as a Nigerian, I think you deserve to have that desire. I'm taking your thoughts now. Coming up next, we'll be talking about the FCT minister revoking the PDP secretariat land title because they haven't paid their ground rent in 20 years. That's interesting. 08179230002, 08179230003. Now, we will get into the state of emergency conversation proper in the next hour and the one after that. I'll have a lawyer join me to talk about the criteria for declaring a state of emergency and whether or not our wonderful state Rivers is qualified. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. But as always, turn off your radio. It's very important. Hello, good afternoon.
Oracle. Good afternoon, my brother.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Emeka, calling you from Hule in Imo State. Oracle, what do you expect from the overseas House Assembly member? You expect less. They were working for the FCT minister and even the president. This is that case of where somebody in the Bible that says women were dragging for a child. No one said no, this child is my own. No one said instead of that, let's share this baby into two. That is the position of the State House Assembly this time around. And all they want is to just have to face the governor. That is just their all what is happening now. They are working in Bariba to work together. And the anybody that is expecting that after this state of emergency that program will come back to as the governor of the State. Let me not say it's impossible, but it's a very difficult situation for government to do. People, they have a target. And this what government River State now has shown complete position of the president. The whole scenario is going on in River State. I say that we have taken it already. I suppose because someone has to go and mediate between Kumara and the FCC and the governor and the FCC minister. It is clear enough for everybody to do that. This is the position of the president of the scenario.
All right, thank you very much. I'll be taking more of your thoughts. I have more calls waiting. But let's see. A couple of messages. Here. Okay. Good afternoon. The state of emergency, does it include curfew? Kelechi from Mile 3. Well, we will get to know what exactly would be required. But usually a state of emergency by definition is pushing the constitution aside just for a bit to attend to a critical issue where a couple of policy strategies will be deployed just to restore calm. So a curfew might be a part of the mix. They will tell us what is required. Hector from Ogbogoro is on the phone. Hello, Hector.
Happy state of emergency.
I don't want to get used to that greeting, but I have to accept it. Go ahead.
Well, you just have to accept it. It's quite unfortunate. For this time yesterday, we nobody expected it, and we never expected that we'll be discussing it today. And that is why they say only God knows what tomorrow holds for us. The last caller just used the Bible phrase, the story of two women, one who lost her baby. She wakes up and finds out that her baby is dead. She starts claiming to the other woman's baby, and they took it to the king. And because she knows that her baby is dead, when the king wanted to divide the baby into two parts, she said, yes. Divide the child. Because she knows that so that it will also cause pain to the other person. And that is what the legislators of the assembly just did. So I'm not surprised. The majority of us are not surprised by their position. It is quite unfortunate. This is not the solution, as far as I'm concerned, to the problem in Rivers State. This is a political problem. We are not at war. Rivers State is not at war. So there should be wisdom. But unfortunately, our president has failed applying the.
Okay. Well, as I call, thank you for calling. Emeka calls from Elele. Hello, Emeka. Good afternoon.
Yes, my dear brother. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my name is Emeka, calling from Elele.
All right, go ahead.
I overheard from your news text that Martin Samevile and his lawmakers that they are thanking President Muhammad Tinubu for declaring state of emergency. My dear brother, I don't know whether they are enemy of the state. Are we in military era that you are happy that they are now they have put in your state on a crossroad? You are now the thanking president on what? On what ground? That he has declared state of emergency. Are you happy over it? Which means they don't have the interest of the river state at heart. They don't have their own interest in the one they are campaigning. And not a president have the right to declare state of emergency to elect a governor. The governor that have the same meeting with him. Where can that happen? We are watching the Senate this afternoon. They said they want to deliberate on it. Let's see what will come out from it. You see what happened in Great Chamber this afternoon. There was a rally session. People counter it. Even the APC people. You can't come and declare state of emergency. It's unfair. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Chima calls from Rumokuta. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Oracle.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Oracle, I've heard from the former assemblies of Federal Assemblies of Rivers State. Oracle, I have a very grave pity for them because those guys are survival of circumstances that some kind of necessity or somebody that the egg is ego that has caused. Imagine 1 year and almost a half a year without receiving a salary, without performing your legitimate work where you are being elected. Now, such thing now came to you because of somebody is just trying to blackmail the society. So to me, I condole with them at this very point in time. Then, in the aspect of what is happening in River State, Mr. Oracle, I refuse to talk because you will not get angry at me. But you remember when the governor made one kind of statement that even if he does not give to violence, but the youth should be ready when he said, let's go, and they will go. And Mr. Oracle, when this threat started to disclaim it, but right that he kept quiet. And quiet is an acceptance. And when this started coming up, and when they've done the first one and two, the government didn't even say anything about it. And if you're looking at what are they talking about, why is it why must we do the crisis of emergency? And so we started dying. Is that what people are talking about? In a place whereby somebody has stood and begin to look at it that maybe taking rule of law is an aberration. What are you telling me? We can't enjoy democracy. To me, this decision is in the right place.
Okay.
And when they are being called back, that's when democracy is going to take place. Then the government will be properly impeached. That's my own stake for now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Now, to be very clear, I'm sure you're still listening, Chima. It is not my duty to get angry at you for your contributions, because you have hinted at it a couple of times. My job here is to ensure that your opinions expressed on this platform are objective. It is not an attack of anyone, but addressing the problems. No derogatory statements and all of that. So if I ever respond or react to what you're saying, it is because you might be flouting our comment policy. So please take note. That's very important. JJ calls from PH Town. Good afternoon.
Yes, Sam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As part of the request to the Federal High Court, the Motorchos court, that the governor, following the presidential pact, pulled out his own defense at the end of the day. Part of that demand was asking the court to stop the House of Reps from taking over the functions of the House of Assembly. Sam, I don't know if you had me right.
I'm listening.
These were the demands of the present House of Assembly. Now, is it not hypocritical that right now that the Federal Executive Council has taken over the function of the House of Assembly, that they are thanking the president? I don't get it at all. Sam, I don't know. There are words I will use now. You will say, oh, maybe I've insulted them. But if you are saying that the House of Reps should not take over your function, now the Federal Executive Council have taken over your function right now, you are dancing and thanking them. Does it make any sense to you, Sam? So, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a face-saving mechanism. So just say, okay, after all, nothing happened. After all, the Peking, they don't divide them. They don't scatter and all those. If not, I tell you, now then the team paying part, because for over 1 year now, they never see Chichi.
All right.
And they were also grandstanding that this whole thing should come and all those put together.
Okay, JJ.
How did they even write this letter? The senior died. They are still there or they are back.
Thank you very much. I must move on now. Susie calls from Erema. Good afternoon, Susie.
Oracle, I greet you.
I greet you too. Please go ahead.
I do not need to bore too much on this conversation, but all I want to say is that there is an aspect of truth. Your truth can be taken from a professional angle, where they say somebody is sick, and then verifying from a medical statistics. We can assert that because the medical science has said this, it is the truth. We can also take it from the angle of religion. From the fact that it has been said by a pastor quoting the Bible, we can say that is also the truth. We can also take it from the angle of the state-centric law, that the law has said this and is cited in the Constitution, which we agreed as our ground norm. And we can also say that is the truth. Now, what I'm saying in essence is that the law has spoken, and then the president is actually hinging his actions on the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, which empowers him to take the action he took yesterday. Yes, there is always going to be a conflict of opposites, where lawyers can divide into parts and then begin to argue. At the end of the day, we are going to come to what is known as an addendum, consensus addendum in law.
Okay.
Where we agree to that extent. Now, I want to say that.
Now, hold on before.
Action taken by the president. Yes.
Before you go on, Susie, based on what you have just said, what is truth to you as regards this subject?
What is what?
What is truth to you?
Yeah, I am not going to be talking about arbitrarily what the truth is for me. The truth is actually what is the fact right now that we're facing in River State.
Okay.
That the president has taken an action to this extent, and that fact is my truth. that if it is not actually being taken from the Constitution, I don't think that action would have been necessary. And to the extent that that action has been taken by the President, and then instead of emergency has been displayed in Rivers State, and we are living with that reality, that is the truth. So we shall take it the way it's supposed to be. And to this extent, everybody should be calm, and let's just see how it works out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bright calls from Rumo Dumaya. Hello, Bright. Good evening.
Thank you, Oracle. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The state of emergency in Rivers State, there is no cause for alarm. I think it's a good thing for we in Rivers State to be calm. And you know that the arms of government, the executive and the legislature, they are having issues they were unable to resolve. And the parties, the supporters, or maybe the executive, they are also threatening that they will blow up pipelines and so on, the resources of Nigeria. And they also went ahead. You know, at the end of the day, Mr. President has seen that for more crisis not to be in Rivers State, at least the normal thing to do is to declare state of emergency.
Bright. Nobody has taken responsibility for blowing pipelines, so it's important that we put that out there. No one has taken responsibility for that.
No one has done what?
Okay, well, thank you very much for calling. Let's move to WhatsApp. Mike says Rivers people should reserve it in their archive that a dividend of democracy brought to Rivers State by the FCT minister in his time as a minister under Tinubu is state of emergency. History will facilitate his reward from this damage he's sowing in our dear state, Comrade Mike says. And Christian Williams says, please, now that the budget have not been represented as directed by the Supreme Court, what will happen to that? And what is the fate of the civil servants and pensioners as regards their salaries? Christian Williams is asking. Well, I'm almost certain that it's part of what the sole administrator will have to handle. If the president claims that the idea behind this arrangement, this emergency rule, is to bring stability, one of the things that might be the first on the agenda is possibly the presentation of the budget. Else, I don't see any solution that, the system brings. So, as events unfold, as time elapses, we'll get to follow the adventure. Sam, just like when King Solomon teased them of cutting the child into two, that Martin Amehule's assembly's acceptance of an unconstitutional action by President Tinubu just to fulfill their premeditated plans against the people of Rivers State, not Governor Fubara. Our legacy projects may be abandoned, workers will be sidelined, it is the people that will suffer, not the governor. DC from Port Harcourt says, hello Chinedu, concerning the state of emergency, I'm not surprised at all. In fact, I saw it coming. But my problem is the State House of Assembly. They are bent on destroying anything that has to do with the governor. My view on this. All right. Hello. Good evening.
Yes. Sam, good evening.
What's your name?
Africa Madi, I'm calling from Aforeche.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes. I want to check on the state of emergency declared in Rivers State. Yeah. That emergency declare is not a welcome one to me. Because the problem we are facing now, the both parties are facing it. Nobody and seeing fashion is not bringing anybody at all. In River State, where we produce oil, why should somebody come out state of the state? Because the state, I think the president handle this in very well. There are other states that are causing harm, like some states where Boko Haram have been disturbing. There's no such emergency declare in that place. Other things are happening in northern areas. Things that are bigger than this one. Nothing is happening. The president have not declared any sort of emergency. Why for this and this river stage? So it's not a welcome one to me. Let us open our eyes. The river people should wake up.
All right.
And they understand. So that the president will know that river people is not in support of this. Even if two brothers are fighting, it's not the reason why You will deny river people something.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see if I have messages on Facebook. Well, live on Facebook, Twitter, UPH. Okechukwu Eyinda says that this our country needs serious prayers. Okay. Moving on. Is the governor still in government house? Is the sole administrator going to reside in the governor's house? The Supreme Court has brought more pain to us as citizens since the Presidential Election Tribunal judgment to the Supreme Court judgment on the 2023 elections. Maxwell says. Lugard calls from Eche. Good evening, Lugard.
Yeah, Sam,
Good evening.
the Luga man from Eche.
Go ahead.
Yes, Sam, it's very unfortunate what we are seeing in River State. The calamity to befall us through this pronouncement of the emergency president. I don't know if he is thinking.
All right, so let's call back if you can. Running through some more messages. Pastor Vincent says, good afternoon. River State House of Assembly backing the declaration of state of emergency is not a surprise because it's part of the grand plan by their boss. But that illegality and political coup should not stand. That's from Pastor Vincent. And Simply Goodness says, I'm not surprised by that the Amehule-led assembly is in support of the state of emergency. What do you expect when this is all they've ever wanted? The president must tread carefully. This declaration was unnecessary in the first place. The FCT minister revoking the land on which the PDP secretariat is situated is politically motivated and an attempt to cripple the PDP ahead of 2027. Simply Goodness. Does everything have to be an agenda? Right? I can't speak to what this is, whether it's true or not, but can some things just be what they are? Does it have to have a hidden meaning? Must it be reflective of something bigger? With politics, it always seems that way. Nothing is as it is. It's a strategy for the next election and this one. That's why it's tiring. Obina calls from Irebe. Hello, Obina.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Chinedu the Oracle.
Good afternoon.
You see, sometimes I begin to wonder why is it that in Nigeria, the definition of leadership is just, misinforming the people and telling them lies. Today we are hearing that inflation have reduced. Yesterday we heard it. The other way we have been hearing it. 2 days ago I was in the market. I have been waiting for the translation of this inflation that have reduced in the prices of goods and services, in the provision of food on my table. But to no avail. Look at how hasty and how sharp the president declared state of emergency in River State just because of selfish aggrandizement. When will the president declare state of emergency on the high cost of goods and services, on provision of goods and services, better leadership for the people of Nigeria? It is a very serious question that I am asking today. This statement that inflation has reduced, it is not the truth. It is all lies. Why would they tell us that inflation has reduced and the things are even going? Today you go to the market and you buy something 1 naira, tomorrow it is 2 naira. Is that a clear definition of a reduction in inflation?
Well,
how many Nigerians have been employed in the last 1 month?
Okay.
I think it's high time this current federal government begin to jettison that idea of telling Nigerians exactly what not is not the truth.
All right. Thank you very much, Obina. And while I understand your position, so most times when these reports are published, yes, there could be a reduction in inflation and you will not see a reflection in prices immediately. As a matter of fact, that's how it almost always happens, right? So most times when you hear, it has dropped from 30% to 29 or 28, I know that the expectation is that immediately because again, it's inflation, right? But it has happened like this so many times that an immediate reflection, a lack of reflection, rather, does not mean that inflation has not gone down. So it's important to put that out there. As time elapses, I'm hoping that, we can have better options. Purchasing power can be better. But the fact that, it hasn't reduced yet does not mean that you're lying. I just need you to understand that. Gospel from Rumudara. Hello.
Sam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ariba Gospel.
Go ahead.
Sam.
Yep.
I want us to rewind and go back to the period that the president intervened in the political impasse.
Okay.
Sam, are you aware that after that meeting in the Astor Villa, the governor came and said that there was no price too much for peace? 2 days later, he went on and said that the resolution was not constitutional. And let us fast forward to this point. I don't want to talk about the Supreme Court judgment that have led to rest all the people and who is the speaker and who is not the speaker. Sam, let us be very rational and sincere. Sam, assembly members, according to the governor, defected, and the governor declared a seat vacant. For 1 year plus, their salaries were not paid, their allowances were not paid. Sam, is that a governor that is a good person that wants the democracy to thrive in this country? Leave that one. Currently, the moment the assembly members expressed their grievances and sent a letter of misconduct to the government, what did we see? We saw videos of people threatening fire on the state of Nigeria. We saw people threatening that they will form oil installations if Kubra is impeached. And 2 days ago or so, an oil installation was vandalized. And people are saying that the president was too hasty to take an emergency measure to curtail imminent danger. Sam, it is very unfortunate that for 24 hours,
all right, Gaspar.
After that vandalization, 24 hours, the government did not come up with a statement condemning the act.
Okay, I have to move on now. I'm literally out of time. But if I got money for every time you called my name, I would be a very rich man. Thank you, Gaspar. You're a final caller. Can I squeeze in messages? I doubt. 30 seconds is literally what I have. This is it for big stories. And the biggest of stories will continue to be had on this dial. 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, we're still talking the state of emergency. We'll have experts join us. We'll have different perspectives. And we will attempt to make sense of it. Stay with us.